Love's for beginners, ain't no winners. It slips through your fingers, I ain't telling no lies. So F all the drama, F the karma. Just do what you wanna, promise you got time. Be you and keep looking forward. Don't you look backwards and you'll be fine. Come through and say what you need to. Don't let them put you down. Baby, let me tell you what it feels like. Being independent, no trouble inside. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Let me tell you what it feels like. Being who's mama, yeah, treat yourself right. It's like magic, living like a bad baby, you deserve.
Welcome back. In the last episode, if you caught up with it, we pulled the engine out of the Kangoo and we painted the engine bay. Woohoo! It looks nice and funky fresh in there. So today we're going to be dropping the subframe off the Kangoo and swapping it with a 182 subframe off Matilda. Hopefully we're going to get the struts in as well. I've already done a little bit in the engine bay. We're going to be running ABS, and it's going to be the 182 ABS and the interior loom. We've got a 182 gearbox that was on our engine, and we can't use the speed sensor, so the 172 engine bay loom isn't really going to run a speedo, should I say. So we need the ABS to work, so we're going to be ripping all the looms out of Matilda and using a 172 engine bay loom or engine loom. Let's go. So here is the engine bay of the Kangoo, and this point here was blocked off by a rubber bung there, and there's also a mounting point here. There was no threads on there, so I've put some riv nuts in ready for the ABS mount, and that's going to bolt up to here. We're going to have to change all these lines. This brake servo's got to be removed and replaced with the 182. I've cut the brake lines off this one because we're not going to be using it because we have some braided brake lines. We need to move this condom thing out the way, which covers the UJ for the steering rack. So we need to undo this 13mm bolt here. Then that should be jobs are good. Then we have a 16mm subframe bolt. Obviously on the opposite side, another 16mm. But this one, either side is 18mm. 9 times out of 10, they're going to spin, and you can't really do them with an engine in situ because you need to get a spanner down the back of here and into this little cavern and try and stop the bolt from spinning. It's a bit more difficult in this side, which is the front one. I don't know whether you can see in there, but these bastards spin, and they're not too great. We've cut the brake lines, as I said. This is undone, this little bracket here, and this is going to drop the lot out. Over to the Clio. And as you can see, this is where one of the riv nuts is now on the Kangoo, which wasn't there before. The hole was already there, but the actual threads wasn't. So this bracket will mount up to where I have put the riv nuts, and it should bolt up like OEM. Over here, there's a little mount where the earth for the loom for the ABS goes. And we're going to have to get creative because that is not on the Kangoo. So once we remove the servo out the way, we can perhaps put a bolt through there or another riv nut. And that should be able to mount our earth and should be all tickety-boo. Winning. Whoops. There we have it, 182 subframe in all its glory. So, as I said, we've got K-Tech coilovers, it's got Brembo vented and grooved discs, PBS Pro race pads, PMS stud and nut conversion. What more do you need? On the front here, when I had the 20 valve turbo conversion in here, this was my front stability mount. So I mashed it up a little bit because I had to cut it off. So I'll repair this when it's back in the van. But yeah, it's all good. So, as you can probably tell, this is been blanked off because I'm probably going to be running an E-Pass conversion, so electric power steering. I've still got to do one to Christine, the Clio, but this one's already ready to go. So back over to Matilda, and I've started pulling the looms out and trying to figure out what's what. So let's get to it. So I started unplugging everything, and this big black box here goes through the firewall, and I think that's what Gary was on about, needs to be welded in to the van. I'm not so sure about welding. I'm pretty sure I could cut something out, but I think this is the alarm. That's exactly what that is. And there's a load of wiring which goes down the back of the firewall for the heaters and stuff. All this is like ABS. I need to unclip all that. I've pulled the wiring out for the indicators from behind the wings. And yeah, there's not all that much in here, to be honest. I need to start breaking down this ABS pump ready to be mounted into the van, and the brake servo. There's no pedals in this car because obviously they've been converted and gone into Christine. So I'm thinking about changing it to, well, I've got a spare 182 pedal assembly, so that'll go in with new clutch cable, etc. So yeah, there's not too much. I'm just trying to figure out where all this goes. I mean, obviously this goes down the back of here, and there's some more wiring over there, but there's not all that much, to be fair. I thought it was going to be quite scary. The main thing is be in the car and behind the dash. But this dash has been cut to living shit, so it shouldn't be too hard to get out and trace where all the wires go. Gotta love subframe bolts. The captive nut on the back or inside the chassis has got like a keeper little bracket thing which stops the nut from spinning. bastard things, they just tear up, and then these are in no man's land. So I've had to thrash most of it off with an air chisel, then get an 18mm spanner inside this little chassis rail bit where it mounts to, and try and hold it in position while I rork the hell out of it to try and get it undone. Man, it's giving me a migraine. Right, so that's the strut tops now bolted in. I'm going to tell you something, the sound quality's probably gone a bit shit. I've lost one of my microphones. It's gone somewhere in the shadow realm or somewhere, I don't know, so my sound's gone crap. It is what it is, and I apologise, but yeah, I'm not very happy about it. I haven't had them long, and it wasn't cheap, but it is what it is. I know when I'm doing action shots not to wear the fucking things, so lesson learned. But yeah, ready to get the van back up in the air now and start tightening these subframe bolts up. Look what I found. This little bastard was stuck to the old subframe. I am so lucky I haven't just binned that off, otherwise this would have gone to scrap and I would never have seen it again. But winner, winner. We're going to start bolting the subframe back up. Now, going to tighten up the steering rack union. We'll put the bolt back through the other side. And it goes a little something like that. And then the condom back up. It's a little different to the Kangoo one, but they'll do the same job. It's just a shit catcher. So that's that done. So guys, it's the next day. That's the subframe pretty much buttoned up. And we're going to start to take the exhaust off, which isn't going to be a seriously hard task because I'm just going to get the air saw on there and chop it off. So here's what the subframe looks like now. Here she is, all bolted up. I've tried to line her up with the marks from where it was on before, so it should be fairly straight. There's your 4 subframe marks, and these are the little brackets. Sorry, let's get you in focus. These little brackets are the clear ones. We need to swap them over to Kangoo because I don't know whether you can tell up there, they do not line up. So these are going to have the triangular brackets off the Kangoo subframe. Here's the exhaust. We're going to be chopping it up. Zoom you out a bit. There we go. So there's 2 13mm and then 2 13mm there. So we're going to drop this bracket off and I'm going to use D-rubbers on here when I eventually make an exhaust for it. It goes up over the subframe. It's not like a Clio where it goes over the passenger side subframe. It actually goes over the driver's side. It's got some really wicked bracketry over here. Nice heavy duty cable ties, as you can see. So I'm going to snip them off, chop the exhaust here, and whip these brackets out.
I wish there was another way to place my trust in the day. Don't matter if you pay. I wish there was another way to take away the pain. I know I drift, but temptations I own you. Said a certain thing, but you just yourself over other things. Patience never got in the way. I have to say I've been haunted by danger and in moments I have visions of another way.
Now the subframe's all buttoned up, and while we're under here, I thought it'd be a good idea to actually remove the seats because we're going to be inside for quite a bit doing all the looms. And in typical Renault weirdness, the seat bolts are all different sizes. On the Clios, they're 15mm, I believe, or 14 or 15mm. All of them are, but these are 13s on the outer edges and 16s on the inner edges. Weirdos. Eating too many frogs, that is. So we're going to do the 16s, which are up here. Off you pop. So that's the inners done. And now time for the outers. Hands are covered in diesel off the Kangoo subframe. These are probably going to snap. Happy days. And that was proper locked up. No, that one's not having none of it, so I'm going to get the ratchet on there. If it snaps, jobs are good, because them seats are going in the bin. Lovely day outside, sun's blazing away. I don't know what the temperature is, but it's pretty warm. But the Kangoo is also outside and back on all four wheels. And all I can say is what a massive difference a 182 Cup subframe setup and steering, etc. does to our little van, appearance wise. Because now, all of a sudden, she became chonky. So, here she is. So there you have it. You can see how much wider the track's actually made it with a 182 subframe. Obviously, you're probably wondering why I didn't go around and strip the brakes and etc. off. The main thing is, this is like fab up. So, we're fabbing everything up, then we can come back to it and address everything in the future once everything is working. Obviously, I need to do the brakes. They look rough, but I've got some shot blasted 182 calipers to go on and a full rebuild kit, so it'll have basically brand new brakes. It's having braided lines, etc. I've got some other lower arms with poly bushes, etc. So yeah, she's going to have the works. As I said, it's not a show van. I mean, this lower arch has had a little bit of a prang from where the wishbone snapped or whatever. So that's I'm gonna have to take this off and work my magic with the hammers and dollies and try and panel beat it straight. But it's not all too bad. It's nice to see her back on the ground again. And we're going to be addressing the brakes, like the ABS, etc., in the next episode. So we hope you enjoyed what you've seen so far, and I hope you're following along, and these videos are insightful and helpful if you're going down this journey of building an RS van. And we'll see you very soon on the next one. Adios.